How did he give me HIV part 9? All right, so yeah. Whatever he had when I came into that marriage, it was gonna go with me. So we moved everything that I owned out of the apartment. And so I knew that when he got off the next morning and he came home, that he was gonna wonder not only where was the stuff at, but where was I? And so, I mean, the whole night was normal. We were packing. He did his usual call because typically when, just like when we were dating at nighttime when it was lunch break, he called me before it was time for me to go to bed, and it was a normal conversation. Good night, and that was that. So my friend sis was like, listen, you cannot drive on that road. I'm not going to let you get on the road driving back to Florida at this time of night. So you just stay here, go to sleep, and you leave in the morning. And so the morning came, and I'm looking at the time because I'm like, okay, this is about time he get off work. All right, it's about time that he it should be walking in the door. I'm gonna give it about a few minutes, and my phone gonna ring, and like clockwork, my phone rang, and my heart started racing when it rung because I was like, wait a minute, whew, here we go, and I didn't answer it. I didn't answer the phone. I didn't. So he called back again, and I answered it. I answered the phone, and I'm thinking, listen, come on now. Stuff is gone. I'm gone. I'm thinking, okay, he's confused. What's going on? This and this and this. No. This man asked me, why didn't I leave him something to cook with in the oven? Because yes, yes, my peoples, listen. When I said I was going to take everything that I came into that marriage with, I absolutely meant it. When I got into that marriage with him, he was living a true quote unquote bachelor lifestyle. He did not have a whole lot of things to cook with in the kitchen. He did not have a full bedroom suite. None of that stuff. Like, none of that stuff. So when I left, that stuff came with me. I did not just leave his clothes thrown everywhere. They stayed folded. I took them out of all the dresser drawers. I laid them out I put a garbage bags across and I laid them on the garbage bags. If they was hanging in the closet, I left them hanging in the closet. Okay. But I took my whole bedroom suite with me. I took my pots and pans. I took all the wedding gifts that had not even really been opened. They came too. Yeah, I took it all. And that was his thing to me. He didn't ask me nothing. He just wanted to know why I ain't leave him nothing to cook with in the oven. Because honestly, it was mine. That's why. You ain't had nothing to cook with in the oven before I came in. You ain't going to have nothing to cook with in the oven when I'm gone unless you go buy your own, okay? And so I got on the road that same day. I got on the road and I made my way back to Florida. And I'll never forget. I stopped probably when I got near, I want to say, is it what, Matthews or St. Matthews, South Carolina? I got somewhere up in there. You know, I'm already on 95, driving down, and I believe that was 95. I think I was already off of I-26. But I get near, I know it was Matthews. I can't remember St. Matthews or Matthews, but I got to Matthews, South Carolina, and I got to stop at the gas station. And I'm pumping my gas. I got my gospel music playing because that was what that's what was helping me in that moment. Like, that's what was helping me. And I never forget the song that was playing. It was Shekinah Glory. The song Yes. And that song was playing, and I had the door propped open while I was pumping the gas, and the song I had it just blasting. And I think this man probably saw me when he was going in to pay, and when he came out, he just came over to me because he saw me crying. I was crying. Like, I didn't even care that anybody saw me crying. And he just came over to me and he said, whatever is wrong. He said, I don't know what it is, and you don't have to tell me. He said, but whatever is wrong, it's going to be okay. He said, it's going to be okay. And when he said that to me, I believed it. I believed it in that single moment. When he said that to me, I believed it and I received it. Okay. And so I got back in the car. I made it back to Florida. And again, this is January 1st, New Year's Day. Got back to my parents' house. My dad was like, don't worry about getting that out of the car. I will get it out whenever we get it out. And so the thing was, now here I'm back in Florida. I got to get back into a doctor's office. I was able to get into the OBGYN doctors here. The doctor that I got into, he's an infectious disease physician that does maternity. So mostly all of the patients that he sees, they are women who are pregnant and HIV positive. So that made me a little more comfortable knowing that this was something that he dealt with. What I didn't know, he could answer for me. Instead of it just being a regular general OBGYN, not really understanding how to care for me in the aspect of now here I am HIV positive. And so got into care, and it's January. It's like the end of January, or, middle to end of January. And my aunt calls, my Aunt Betty. She called, turn on the news. And I'm like, why is she telling me to turn on the news? It was the morning news. So this is like 7 or 8 a.m. in the morning. She's calling me, waking me up. Turn on the news. So I turn on the news. And there was a story on the news where there was a homosexual couple. And the older male had got charged, arrested, and sentenced in the state of Florida for a maximum of 5 years for knowingly infecting his younger partner with HIV. And my aunt was like, because at this point my aunt knows, a couple more people know. My aunt was like, isn't that what Greg just did to you? Isn't that what he just did to you? And I was like, yeah. I say, but I don't, in my head, I'm like, they're not going to do nothing. We married. Like, they're going to probably say, oh, well, that was your husband. Like, she was like, well, you won't know unless you call. And so I just say, you know what? We'll see. So I hung up the phone with her. I called the sheriff's office. I talked to the detective in the sex crimes unit, and I explained to him. I say, listen, I just saw this story on the news. I say, and the same thing happened to me. I said, the only difference is that I'm married. And he said, well, what happened? And I explained to him pretty much what I told you guys already. And he said, you didn't know? I said, I had no idea. I said, I didn't know that he was positive. He didn't tell me. I didn't know. He said, well, if you didn't know, then what he did to you was a crime. And he can be held accountable for that crime that he's done to you. And so I said, well, what do you need me to do? And so he went through the process of explaining to me that I need to file a police report. I'm going to have to come in and also do a full written statement, and then allow them to do an investigation. So I called one of my friends who was a police officer at the time, because I didn't want to just talk to a stranger. Even though I was telling certain people my status, I didn't want to talk to a stranger. So he came out, he took the report, and he was sad about it. He was very, very sad about it. And took the report. I went in, did the written statement with the sheriff's office downtown, and they did their investigations. So the next time that I got a phone call from them was on Valentine's Day of 2008. That's the day of love. Like, oh my gosh, we just celebrated Valentine's Day. Last Wednesday, we just had Valentine's Day. That's the day you give gifts. That's the day you go, people go out on dates, whatever. That's the date that we have set aside in society as a day of love and showing our love. So on that day, I showed him my love. I gave him a gift that I don't think he's going to ever forget.